Dear friends, I'm the Reverend Karen Schomburg. I am vicar at St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Moscow, Idaho. And today I would like to talk to you about grief. Now, if you've been on this planet for any period of time at all, you've experienced the loss of a loved one, loss of a job, loss of independence, loss of your health. And that produces this emotion that we call grief. But it's a lot more than just emotion. Grief can cause damage to your psyche, damage to your body, damage to your health and well-being and relationships. And it's not something that should be ignored. Now, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, you're one of those folks that value your independence and your ability to make choices and your ability to express yourself as you see fit. That's just the hallmark of living here. In particular, we love to gather. We love to gather in coffee shops and bars and restaurants. We love to assemble and express our opinions. And those of us who are of a religious nature, we love to come together and worship and express our independence there. We value our right to choose and our right to be able to express ourselves. Now, with the coronavirus and the state's response that we are to shelter in place, that puts a significant kibosh on our ability to do what we just naturally want to do. To express ourselves, to go out into public, to gather, to be community, to worship together. So many things that we have taken for granted, we are saying no to right now for the common good. And that's a wonderful thing. And it's a beautiful thing to see that we are all coming together for the common good. But it doesn't diminish our losses. And they're real. And that produces grief. Many years ago during World War II, a young budding psychologist in Germany who was just completing his PhD was hauled off to a concentration camp. His name was Viktor Frankl. And he decided, while he was trapped there and there was virtually nothing he could do about it, that he would finish his work there, observing those who survived under these horrific circumstances and those that didn't. And by survival, I'm not talking about who physically survived, but who emotionally survived. And the culmination of this work and observation, Frankl came up with a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And in this book, Frankl discusses the fact that all human beings, no matter who they are and under what horrific circumstances they find themselves, will survive better and do better if they have a sense of meaning. And I have found in particular that finding a sense of meaning as you're navigating the kinds of losses that we're experiencing now and the ensuing grief is just the salve that we need for our wounds right now. For those of us that are Christian, and we come together each week to celebrate the Holy Meal, to hear the Word, and to be in community, we're currently experiencing a profound loss because that is center to our identity and self-understanding. And if you remember, towards the end of each Christian service, but especially in the Episcopal Church, in our Book of Common Prayer, at the end, after we have taken communion, after we have prayed for our community, after we have worshiped our God, the deacon, or in the case at St. Mark's, the young people and the young at heart, send us out into the world to love and serve God until we come back together again. And that, my friends, I will suggest today, is our meaning that we can place into this coronavirus stay-at-home situation that we find ourselves in. We were sent out 3 weeks ago to love and serve God, to live into the mission of the church, to unite ourselves with God and with each other. And until we come back again to the table as a community, we are still under that mandate. And that is our meaning until we come together again to refresh and to renew. Now, this does not diminish the things that we have lost, but it certainly reminds us that we are living together under a common goal and that we have work to do. Now, in further videos and communications, I'll be talking with you about how we go about doing that thing of loving and serving God while we're in isolation. And we can do that. I'm certain that we can. It will take a joint community effort to do so, figuring out ways that we can communicate and figuring out ways that we can be the body of Christ, albeit rather disjointed at this time. So my prayer for you at this time is you are able to acknowledge your grief, acknowledge the pain of loss, and acknowledge also that we are out in the world now under this mandate to love and serve our God with gladness and singleness of heart. Until we meet again, God bless you and keep you and grant you peace. Amen.